Hi everybody, it's Danielle from Haverford Township Free Library, and welcome to this week's Mundo Monday, where we celebrate all the people of the world by reading their stories. So for the past 8 weeks, we've read stories from all over the globe, from Korea, India, Africa, China, and from Native American cultures. So tonight I'm going to read you a story from a culture that you might not think about when you think about other cultures, the deaf culture. Being deaf is somebody who cannot hear. They can be born deaf or they can become deaf through an illness or some other reason. There's also hard of hearing, where people might be able to hear a little bit, but not too much. Deaf people have their own culture and their own language, which in this country we call ASL, or American Sign Language. We no longer use the term hearing impaired because deaf people do not feel that their deafness is an impairment. They're actually very proud of their deafness, as they should be. So tonight, we are going to read Moses Goes to a Concert, and this is by Isaac Millman. So first I'm going to read the author's note. Most people in the deaf community communicate with one another in American Sign Language, which is often called by its initials ASL. ASL is a visual sign language which is composed of precise hand shapes, movements, and facial expressions that are used to form words. If you follow carefully the positions of the hands and fingers and the directions of the arrows shown in the diagrams, you can begin to learn a few words in American Sign Language. You can also learn the hand alphabet, which is pictured on the last page of this book. Moses plays on his new drum. He can't hear the sounds he is making because he is deaf, but he feels the vibration of the drum through his hands. He has taken off his shoes so he can feel it through his feet too. Today, Moses is going on a field trip. His teacher, Mr. Samuels, is taking him and his classmates, who are all deaf, to a young people's concert. As the children climb onto the bus, they wonder what is inside Mr. Samuels' black bag. A big surprise, signs Mr. Samuels. On the bus, Moses signs to his friend, "John, my parents gave me a new drum." John signs back, "I got one too." And if you're reading this book at home, you can learn some of the signs through the diagrams here. Children from all over the city are coming to the concert. Moses and his friend John wait for their class to get off the bus so they can go inside together. Mr. Samuels leads them to their seats in the first row. Across the stage, in front of the orchestra, are all the percussion instruments. "Children, the percussionist is a friend of mine," says Mr. Samuels. "What's a percussionist?" Anna signs back. "A musician who plays an instrument such as a drum, cymbals, even a piano," signs Mr. Samuels. A young woman walks on the stage. Everyone stands up to applaud. Some of Moses' classmates wave instead of clapping. The percussionist smiles and bows to the audience. So sometimes in the deaf community, instead of applauding with their hands to make a sound, they will wave with both hands. So that's what that means when some of Moses' classmates wave instead of clapping. They're not waving hello, they're waving their applause. "She has no shoes," Moses signs in surprise. The teacher smiles and signs she is deaf too. She follows the orchestra by feeling the vibrations of the music through her stocking feet. Then Mr. Samuels takes 11 balloons out of his black bag and hands one to each of his students. "Oh, what beautiful balloons," Anna signs. "Hold them on your laps," signs Mr. Samuels. "They'll help you feel the music." The conductor turns to face the orchestra and raises his baton. The percussionist strikes the huge gong and the concert begins. The percussionist watches the conductor and moves from one instrument to the next, striking each to make a sound. Moses and his classmates hold their balloons in their laps. They can feel the music as their balloons pick up the vibrations. When the concert is over, Mr. Samuels has another surprise. He takes the children on stage to meet his friend, Miss Marjorie Elwin. She will tell you how she became a percussionist, signs Mr. Samuels. I became seriously ill at the age of 7, signs Miss Elwin, and when I recovered, I found out that I had lost my hearing. I was deaf. What did you do then, signs Moses. So Moses is signing at the bottom, my friends and I are deaf. Deaf. I worked hard. My heart was set on becoming a percussionist. And I did. Now you can play on my musical instruments, Ms. Elwin signs. Come with me, children. Anna plays on the marimba. Beverly strikes the triangle. Mark pounds the floor tom and the cymbal. Diane beats the tom-toms. John hits the snare drum, and Moses thumps the bass drum. David strikes the gong. Tommy and Susie play on the tubular bells, while Steve bangs the kettle drum and Maria plays the congas. Did you know there were so many different percussion instruments? Children, we have to go, Mr. Samuels announces after a while. Ms. Elwin has to get ready for another concert. Moses and his classmates sign thank you, and they wave goodbye to Ms. Elwin. Thank you. Thank you, and goodbye. On the bus on the way home, Moses signs, "It was so much fun." That night, Moses tells his parents about the concert. Here is what he says. When you set your mind to it, you can become anything you want when you grow up. A doctor, artist, teacher, lawyer, farmer, electrician, or actor. I want to become a percussionist. And that's the end. On the last page of the book is the hand alphabet, sign language letters. So that was Moses Goes to a Concert by Isaac Millman. I hope you enjoyed this week's Mundo Monday. And I hope that you learned about a culture that you might not often think about as another culture. The deaf community is a culture of its own, with its own language. I hope you'll join me next week. Bye for now.